Film as a part of the thesis and mounting as a method for social sciences. The first stage in this undertaking will be to carry over the principle of montage into history. That is, to assemble large-scale constructions out of the smallest and most precisely cut components. Indeed, to discover in the analysis of the small individual moment the crystal of the total event, and therefore to break with vulgar historical naturalism. To grasp the construction of history as such, in the structure of commentary, refuse of history. Walter Benjamin, Notebook N, Arcades Project. Let us take a George Simmel, Sigmund Freud, Abe Warburg, Mark Bloch. The decision to present by montage, that is, by displacements and reconstructions of things. Montage would be a method of knowledge and a formal procedure born of war, with the ability to apprehend the disorder of the world. It marks our perception of time since the first conflicts of the 20th century. It would have become the modern method par excellence. D.D. Huberman, The Eye of History. My argument is that the history of space can be built by montage. I'm a documentary filmmaker and editor. I understand film as a support for writing in fragments. I think that film form, capable of carrying movements and times, testimonies and text, past and present, is a suitable board for the history of space. There is a visual form of knowledge and a wisdom of the gaze, as in Wahlberg's Atlas, largely disregarded by the Academy as a way of producing knowledge. If montage is a polyphonic device that uses forgotten remains and heterogeneous narrations to dismantle the official story and reassemble another story from its critical constellations, no instrument seems to me more adequate than film to execute it. Paula Jacques, coordinator of the urban laboratory at Bahia Federal University in Brazil, proposes in her experiences the use of montage as a way to approach cities and urbanism. Through the search of other ways of narrating the urban experience, following Benjamin from the rags and the residues, she thinks of operating knowledge from the anarchic potentialities of the fragment and the problematization through doubt, through the incomplete and mutable order, and through the unfinished. For D.D. Huberman, the empirical and creative exercise proposed by Benjamin is capable of bringing out other possibilities from dismantling the certainties. It allows us to think through the difference and gaps left between the fragments. The montage allows for the simultaneity of times and the emergence of symptoms, the revelation of failures, conflicts, heterogeneity, in perforating tradition and colliding with the text. If montage serves all this, it also serves the decolonization of perspectives and methodologies, serves to narrate the history of subalterns and the hidden histories of the empires. It also can be used to articulate memory, narration, and history in the attempts to grasp reality. I propose film not as an illustration of one's thesis ideas, nor as an instrument capable of expanding the communication of the thesis to non-academic communities. I propose the use of cinematographic montage as a method of knowledge production, as an important part of the research, whose result will be an inseparable part of the thesis. Film as a method for the social sciences. In my current work, a doctoral thesis on the social history of space of a company town in the Brazilian Amazon, I propose a combination of academic text and cinematographic montage based on different types of fragments. A mixture of archives filmed by me, institutional films archives made by the company, photographic archives, company employees' personal archives, magazines, newspapers, all combined with sound interference in the form of a narrative reflection in an exercise of iconological analysis and discourse analysis. The videos recorded by me are images of wanderings carried out with old-time residents, with walked through the villages and still existing urban equipment built by the company many decades ago. Those interviews took place in a semi-structured way, but there were no questionnaires to fill out, no lists of questions or subjects to complete. The interviewer's role, my role, is the active listening. The subjects and threads were defined by the interviewees, so that what was recorded is what they consider important to be remembered. Reflexivity means that the producer intentionally reveals to the audience the underlying epistemological assumptions that led him to formulate questions in a particular way. Says J. Ruby in Exposing Yourself, Reflexivity, Anthropology and Film. Delivering an account of the position from which one narrates is therefore fundamental. So, the narration does not impose itself as a voice of God over the material, as it neither affirms nor has certainties. It is organized on the incompleteness of the process. The narration sheds light on the background of the painting, on what history disregarded, on what was considered disposable or unimportant by the discourse of the dominator. It is thinking through differences and from the cracks of what is initiated by the authority. It is thinking from the accidents and ghosts. What I propose is the integration of the result of this montage experience in the general organization of the thesis, so that the chapters can vary between two supports, text and montage, being organized according to what the material itself indicates, in an interpolation between text chapters and film chapters. I indicate the use of film as a support for the thesis because I understand the cinematographic language is quite adequate to production of history of space and bears much more complex attributes than its mere communicational value.